I can't believe it's that time of year. I'm gonna show you my favorite reads of 2023. The year isn't over yet, but I'm not expecting to read any more amazing books. Well, at least I'm counting on some low fives or high fours, but not high fives anymore. I just simply looked at my shelves at all the books I read this year, which is a little bit under 100. I hope I can still hit the 100 by the end of the month, but I'm not entirely sure that's going to happen. But yeah, I pulled 6 books from my shelves. These are the books that I've loved so much this year, that just stood out to me and I can't get off my mind. So I'm not mentioning the book in any particular order. Let's start with the first one. The first one I have is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. In this book you follow a girl who's been adopted by a vampire and she enters a trial, and if she wins it she gets a unique opportunity. Of course there is a very handsome vampire also involved, and just the fact that there's a trial, that's just something I really love in books. This is fantasy romance, by the way, and I think it's the perfect combination. I think it's just equal 50% fantasy, 50% romance, so that was perfect. And I don't know, it says on the back tournament, but trial tournament. For me it's the same. Let me know what the difference is. I would love to know. I also read the novella that comes after this, and that one is also amazing. I also gave that one 5 stars, but I thought it was a little bit too much to put 2 of one author in here, so I chose this one. Then I have a book that I not only love from the inside but also from the outside, and that is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is such a cozy book. It also has a recipe in it, so if you haven't read this book already, I highly suggest you check out the recipe so you can eat the things while they're being talked about. In this book you follow an orc who wants to open a coffee shop in a town village where nobody even knows what coffee is. It is very much slice of life, but it also has some action to it. But this is the coziest book I've ever read, and I can't wait to read the second one. Then I have a book that I would have never thought would be on this list, but the experience I had while reading this book, and just the fact that I can remember everything that happened, I don't know, I look back on this book with so many fun memories, and I just had the best time ever. It is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. This is a mystery thriller horror kind of book. This book was just perfect. It was, even though I'm a scaredy cat? Even though I'm scared easily, this book was just the right amount of scariness. It had some really fun horror foreshadowing in it, and it just took me by surprise. There were twists that I did not see coming. I was so involved in the story. It's not normal. And I also have a reading vlog reading this, so if you want to know more you can definitely watch that one. But this book I gave 5 stars. It was incredible. It was just incredible. And it's so fun because I do notice that this year my love for horror and mystery thrillers has just gotten bigger, and that goes to show because this book is in my top 6 books of 2023. I have a book that makes me doubt something I said before, and that is Garlic and the Vampire by Brie Paulson. The thing I'm rethinking is that maybe this is the coziest book I ever read and not Legends and Lattes. I don't know. They're at the same level, but this one just has more cuteness in it. But let me tell you, this book follows Garlic. Garlic sells garlic on a farmer's market with other vegetables, and they belong to a witch, or they belong to a witch. A witch created them, and one day they see smoke coming out of this castle and they have to see what's going on. They suspect there's a vampire living there, so of course there was only one person or one vegetable who could go, and that is Garlic, and you follow the adventure of Garlic going to the castle. This is just the cutest book ever, and it also has a second book, so I can't wait to pick that one up. But it was just so cute and wholesome, and it is a graphic novel. I also have a reading vlog reading this one. So if you want to know more, you can check that one out. But this was just the cutest and I'm definitely going to reread it. Then the next book I have is also quite a surprise for me that it made it in the top 6. And it is The September House by Carissa Orlando. This is a debut novel and it is horror. Yeah, I think this one is just classified horror. But it is so quirky. It is so... The main character... Okay, wait. Back up. Let me tell you a little bit about the book first. In this book you follow Margaret and her husband moved into a very old Victorian house a couple years ago, but now the husband has left her, but maybe he just left the house because the house is haunted. And I think it's such a funny perspective that you just have a main character who has accepted that the house is haunted, but she doesn't want to move. She wants to stay there. The problem is her husband has left the building and her daughter thinks something is wrong, that he just hasn't left on his own accord. So she comes to the house, but she has never been there before, so she doesn't know it's haunted. And the story is just them trying to find the husband. But yeah, there were also so many twists and turns in this book, especially towards the end. It was crazy and I just love the main character so much. Also, this was just the right amount of scary for me. It just hits all the spots. It was perfect and yeah, highly recommend. And then we're already at the last book. And this book, I think everyone may suspect that it's on the list. And that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This book, oh my god. Oh my god. This book made my heart do all kind of things. It was just perfect. The action in it, but the romance, but the dragons, it was just all perfect. And let me tell you what the book's about first. In this book you follow Violet, and Violet was always trained to be a scribe in the world where this takes place, but her mother decides, no, you're going to be a dragon rider. But to become a dragon rider you have to go to a very dangerous school with a lot of people that die. Yeah. Just everyone dies left and right. And that just makes the story so good. You never know who's going to die. This book was just perfect. It hit every spot. Everything that I could want in a fantasy romance book was in here. I also read the second book and loved it, but I didn't want to include 2 books of the same writer in this list. So that's why I'm only choosing Fourth Wing. But Iron Flame, I loved it as much. Just perfection. If you like fantasy romance, this is a staple, but I think you've already read it. So those are the best books I read in 2023. I would love to know if you've read any of these books. And I would also love to know which book is your favorite book of 2023. I love making this video and just looking back on my perfect books. I have, oh, my heart. I just love these books so much. I'm crazy. But yeah, they're just perfection. If you want to know more about these books, just talk to me. And I also have, from a lot of these books, I have reading vlogs, so you can just look them up. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Happy reading!